Hello, everyone.
You know, this is the job interview for superintendent and principal, correct?
Who wants it?
Meeting, bye.
Yeah, I'll be logging off now.
If you
Hey,
say
we got-
that this is the interview for being a distance learner parent at home, then I'm logging off.
Terry and I would be willing to mentor you, so, you know. It's not
I
gonna be that
offered to
bad.
have a sleepover. What the heck? I'm surprised I didn't get in trouble or get
I think
recalled or
I'll-
something.
I think I'll stick with taking care of patients. Thank you. Much less stressful.
Oh, I couldn't do your job, Leslie.
I couldn't do yours, to be honest. So thank you for all that you do.
You too. And that's why
Yeah.
we're all different, right? We all cover different things. So
Absolutely.
yeah, makes the world go round. That is for sure. I am freezing in this office. My God.
I know, it was cold. I came home and got a cup of coffee, Terry.
Man. I'm just thinking I'm freezing.
All right, do we have everybody in, KDB?
Yep, nobody is in the waiting room and we've got about 29 participants today.
And we're recording?
I am recording.
Perfect.
And Karina, are you in here yet? Or are you,
Karina's here.
okay, you want to go ahead and I don't know if I see anybody.
I don't know that I see anyone that needs interpretation, but we will offer it and see if we have any takers.
Yep, go for it, Karina.
Ok, ¿hay alguien que ocupe traducción en
Oh, we lost her.
We lost you, Karina.
Karina, you're muted.
Hold on, I'm doing the ask to unmute. We can't hear, I can see your lips moving, Karina, but we can't hear you.
Good for a while.
Can you hear me?
Yep, now you go. Go ahead.
Ok. ¿Hay alguien que ocupe la traducción en español? Si hay alguien, pueden ponerle al mundito abajo en el menú y les va a dar la opción para español. Si sí la ocupan, van a apagar el audio en inglés y los va a pasar al español, ¿ok?
Okay, thanks, Karina.
You're welcome.
Okay. Well, it's that time. Little by little, we're coming back. Little by little by little. You know, instead of just doing the whole shebang. However, we're not in red quite yet, so we are coming back. So starting on March 22nd, get that date, March 22nd, kindergarten through third grade will come back 4 days a week. So no more AB days. They'll either be on campus or distance learning. No more AB days. Friday, we'll still keep distance learning because we do have other grade levels that we have too many distance learners and we have other grade levels that I can't, they're too big right now. I haven't figured out how to do that yet. And the teachers are still have to do their distance learners. So if we, for some reason, if we have to do this next year, then I'm hiring a distance learning teacher, I think. So K to 3, starting on 3/22, 4th through 5th, plus our small 6th to 8th grade classes that are Doherty, Purcell, and Tyner will be starting on April 6th. So you ask, what about the rest of the 6th through 8th grade? Give me some time to figure it out and work it out. So your teachers want to come back. They want the kids back. They just have too many kiddos and we have to space and we still have to distance space. So the new rule is that you need to 6 foot distance where practicable, but you have to bring back as many kids as possible. Well, we can't bring back as many kids as possible with 6 foot distancing. So we can go down to 4 foot distancing. So that's what we're doing. However, some of my middle school classes are still too big. So we're trying to figure it out, what to do there. So we think we have some ideas. We're going to talk to middle school. My guess is sometime in April, we'll look at bringing 6th through 8th, the rest of the 6 classes back. We just got to figure it out. It may be that we have a pop-up with the sides wrapped around it, hooked up to Mr. Gist and Miss Tyler's classroom and have some chairs in there. I don't know, but we will figure it out. But give us some time to do that. So there is no changes in arrival, dismissal, bus stop times, or Fridays yet. Okay, not at this time. We still, like I said, we still have too many distance learners. We still have to do packet pickups. If we only had a few, we could change it, but we don't. So packet pickups, work with your teachers. A lot of your teachers will just give them to your kids while they're in class. Someone might have some other things to do, but work that out with your teachers. We haven't talked to them yet. We're talking to them Friday, but make sure you communicate with them. So since we're coming back, attendance is like we normally do when you're on campus. When you're on campus, you're attending. The only time that we would expect distance learning is if you've been exposed, if your kid has been exposed, been positive, or they are sick, and then they can do distance learning. Otherwise, if you want to take a trip, then you're going to be absent. It's a lot of work. I know it's a lot of work on you guys, a lot of work on the teachers, but that we just can't, it's too hard to keep all track of that. So you're either here or you're not, unless it has to do for sickness or obviously there's some excused absences, right? So to know that, let's see.
So Mrs. Rufert, just to clarify on that, if they opt to take the trip and they Zoom in.
No, they're absent.
So they don't even have the ability to Zoom in at this point.
Nope.
Okay,
No.
just to make sure we're all clear.
You're on campus or you're off campus, period. On campus or off campus. The only thing is if you're sick, something that the kid can't control, or if we quarantine the child, then that would be different. However, if your kid's so sick that they can't get on distance learning, then they need to, not do that. That's just like any regular year. So if your kid's coming on campus, except for Fridays, just take it like any other year. The only difference really is if they have to be quarantined, right? Otherwise, it's like any other year. Okay. So there are some change in pickup areas. So Mrs. Gist, would you like to talk about? And we'll go back and we'll open this up for all of you to talk about. Okay, so I just want to get through all of this and we'll open up for questions. You want to talk about the change in the pickup area starting on March 22nd?
Yes, I will talk about that. So we have found that our express lane has gotten very congested with traffic heading out onto Prosperity Avenue. So due to safety reasons, we want to try to eliminate some of that traffic. So we're moving our first grade pickup to the sports complex. So first graders will be picked up at the sports complex with our second graders. If you have a sibling, once again, like we've always had, you may pick up at your sibling location. So if you have a kindergartner with your first grader, you may still pick up at the express lane. Also our fourth graders. So our pickup for our fourth graders starting the 22nd will be the sports complex as well. So that'll just make it easy to remember. Fourth grade is drop off and pick up at the sports complex.
Is there any change in dropping off in the morning?
No change with dropping off in the morning. We're just changing the pickup.
Okay. Chromebooks, they need to be charged. You need to bring them every day. They're like a textbook, so you need to bring them every day. We don't have any extras, so if they don't bring their Chromebook, then it's like leaving your textbook at home for that. Some teachers may not need you to take your Chromebook home. They may do everything in class, so that you may be able to keep it there. I don't really know yet, so you'll work with your teacher on that as well. So Katie or Cindy, is there anything else I need to add to the overall?
No, I just want to answer the chat. Yes, fourth graders are going back April 6th, although we're changing their pickup location as of the 22nd.
Yeah, so let me go over those again in case somebody else new joined. Kindergarten through third, TK is already back 4 days a week. Kindergarten through third will be back 4 days a week, Monday through Thursday, starting on March 22nd. Fourth and fifth grade classes and our smaller 6th through 8th grade classes, which is Robin Doherty, Joey Purcell, and Stacy Tyner, will come back on April 6th. The other 6 classes that are 6th through 8th will be coming back. We just got to figure it out. And so one at a time. So, and we'll figure that one out. Okay. Because we need to figure that out. And right now our 6th through 8th are coming back at a different time. And that's just because I'm right now they're cohorts. And so you're not supposed to teach the core in those cohorts. So we have from 8 to 9, and then they can start to 9. So really when your kids are on campus at 9 o'clock, they're in a cohort doing intervention, right? And so from 8 to 9, they're doing all their core instruction, right? So that's kind of where we're at with that. So when 6th through 8th come back, then we have to look at maybe arrival time as well. But for now, that's where we're at. Okay. So hopefully by the time we're at the end of April, everybody's back that wants to be back. Hopefully. Okay. So now the time is for you to ask questions. So because we just dropped this on you, we were just figured out that we could do this. So this is all new. We're all rushing to get it in because we are asked on a regular basis, when do the kids get to get back? By you guys, by the teachers, and by the kids. So we're doing as quickly as we can. So let me answer these first. Because you're answering for them. Go ahead. Any questions? Unmute and just ask.
So Terry, Ms. Rufert, you want to talk about the day camp?
The day camp's still available for everybody, but for the classes that aren't coming in, are the middle school one, the one that goes from 4th to 8th grade, that'll be all day long. Still, our TK one all the way through 3rd grade, they'll be there in the morning. They'll be there when the kids get out of school in the afternoon, and they'll be there on Fridays. We're going to use those day camp people for other things in the meantime, because we won't have any kids in there, except for the one that has 4th or 8th. We won't have any kids in there while they're in class. Okay, but yes, it will be available. Does that make sense? So kind of like the before and after school program, except for 4th or 8th, and then it will be like it is right now.
A parent asked, will this schedule stay the same until the end of the year?
Will we come back on Fridays? Probably not, because we can't house enough kids in here to get back. I mean, I guess it could be if we got into the yellow or something where we didn't have to 4-foot distance. If we ever got to the stage where we didn't have to 4-foot distance, yes, the schedule could change. The only thing that is we would probably look at right now is the 6th through 8th coming in a little bit earlier, so it's not such a big break between your primary and your upper grade. But I can't do that yet. I have to wait until I can not call them cohorts. So
Another parent asked if there are any other options for after school programs for those that have students in each time slot for pickup.
no, that hasn't changed. I'm sorry. I don't have any more rooms.
Another parent asked, when will the school day end?
Same as it does now. Your start times and your end times won't change. The only ones that may change are the middle school, but not right now. Any other questions? So if we were to change middle school and they started earlier, we would try to get those times closer together. So if anything, you have two pickups, not 3. Okay, it's just a game we're playing right now, and I apologize for that, but I don't know any other way to get around the ruling right now. Other questions? You can unmute and ask.
I have a question. I know it doesn't pertain to everybody, but when school started, we had one pickup location for the bus. And then because at the time my son happened to be the only student who was actually getting picked up there, they moved us to a different bus stop. So are we going back to the original bus stop and bus time, or are we staying where we are?
Teresa, I can answer that question for you because I worked closely with Mrs. Verkijk on doing the bus stops. If the other one is more convenient for you guys, I can talk to Mrs. Verkijk. I'm sure now that we're combining, we'll have more kids at that bus stop, and we can make that work. So whatever is better for you guys, we can do that for you since she swapped you guys.
Okay, thanks.
Just send us an email and let us know.
I have a question about the K-3 drive-through pickups. Will there be another one? Just because for the parents who are working and trying to get their child picked up and then back to work, it seems like there's always a lag. So will there be another option, or is that the only one?
So kindergarten can be picked up at the express lane, and then first and second back in the sports field. So it goes by faster back in the sports field.
Okay, well, do I just let my child teacher know that? Because we're by the bus stop, and it just is always so slow trying to get my child.
Your child is in first grade, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, so she'll, starting on the 22nd, then she'll be back at she'll be out in the back by the sports complex.
Okay.
And so the teachers will be directed to take them out there starting on the 22nd. So next week will continue as normal.
Okay.
As it has been. And then that should alleviate some of that time for you guys after school.
Okay, teachers will automatically take them to the back, both first and second, unless you have a kindergarten and you communicate with your teacher that you want them in the express lane because you have a kindergartner. They'll automatically take them back there. And then the good thing about that is it's a square, so you can go around. You don't have to be out in the street, and there's parking areas, and so it's a little bit easier.
And keep in mind, parents too, if you're able to find a park and get out and walk up to the gate, it might be quicker for you, and you might not be waiting so long in a long line of cars. So know that that's always available for you to do too, until we get to that March 22nd date, that it should alleviate some of the traffic as well.
Yeah. And Rebecca, I don't remember if your kid is on the list or not, but if there's an interest in your kid, if I have a spot in day camp, if you're interested in that, make sure you email me that, because I have a waiting list. Question about bus routes. Why was the stop of 132 canceled? We just had to consolidate because of we had to have parents out there and where the parents were. And so we just consolidated it so we could get the buses back here quicker and not be gone so long at this time.
I have a question.
Sure.
What is the reason that they can only go half days? If they're already there, it seems like, why can't they go till 3 o'clock? I know I'm sure there is a reason why. I'm just curious what that is, why, since they're already.
The reason is to give the teachers time to work with their distance learners. They still have to meet with their distance learners, and they still have to have time to do Zooms with them and make sure they're and teach them as well. Some of them have them Zooming in class, and some do not. But when they need help, they have office hours then too, and we can't make that all work right now.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I have
Anybody
a question.
Sure.
You mentioned that if they were exposed or they needed a quarantine, we would, my husband and I both go to work, and we've had a couple occasions where we were exposed and we had to quarantine. At that point, we would just notify the school and they would do Zoom classes.
Yeah. So let me clarify this for you guys. So those people that have first exposure to somebody positive have to quarantine. But if you have second exposure, if you're the second exposure, so if I'm positive and Mrs. Gist is with me, she has to quarantine. But her husband, who lives in the same house, does not, because it's a secondary exposure. But if it's a primary exposure, they're positive, then yeah, you would let us know.
Okay. And then they would Zoom at that time?
Correct.
Okay.
Like I said, in retrospect, having a distance learning teacher at every grade level would have helped us out immensely, but we never thought we'd be in there this long. So, and it's a cost. But if we have to, for some reason, start like this next year, believe me, we'll have distance learning teachers so that it doesn't affect the rest of you that want your kids on campus. So we're already thinking about that for next year. Doesn't help you this year, but we are thinking about that for next year, and we'll just use the money coming down from the federal government or whatever to do that with. Hopefully we don't have to do that, but if we do, we're prepared. Any other questions, concerns, thoughts?
I have a question.
Yep.
Are you following the county guidelines for like K through third as far as classroom closures go to positive cases, and then 4th through 8th, where the positive case is the only one that has to isolate if they've remained their 6-foot distance and wore their mask the whole time?
Yes, we are, until the health department tells us something different. So sometimes we get questions back, Deanna, I don't know if you do, but we get questions back and they want us to do something, and then I have to call them and kind of argue with them or debate them, so.
Okay.
I have a question.
Yep.
For 8th graders, what does this do for graduation for them?
So you mean, what kind of graduation would it be?
Yes.
Okay. So we have talked about doing like a drive-through before, like we did before. But if we keep going the way we're going with the numbers going down, if it doesn't increase after spring break, there may be a possibility of doing something outside. It may be a little bit hot, but we may be able to do it outside with some distancing. I don't think we can do it in our multi-purpose room. We wouldn't be able to do that. So right now we've got a couple plans. It's just, our big plan is having, similar to what I guess Western did, is where you drive, your kid comes up, you can get out of your car, whatever, your kid comes up, they get their diploma, you can take pictures, and kind of like what we did last year with the drive up, but a little bit more time. But if our numbers keep going like they are now, and I can do like churches did and have like little pods where your families can be. And for some of you that were students when we used to have outside graduation, something similar to that, and having the stage there, and then just having you guys out there, you know. So how do we do tickets? I don't know that yet. So that's kind of where we're at. So our plan is to make this special for 8th graders. If we can go somewhere, we'll go somewhere. I don't know where we'll go, but we'll go somewhere. It's just finding the place that we're allowed to go to, and you know, we may even just go over the coast for the day, just to go have fun, you know. So I don't know. We'll figure something out. If we can, if we're allowed to do it, we'll figure something out. Okay. And if you guys have ideas as 8th grade parents and you want to throw them our way, then great. I do have good news. We got one check back, only one, from last year's, and it was the check to the Academy of Science. It was only $1,800 to start. So anybody else? Good questions.
There's a comment in the chat, just that before and after school care, similar to how it was pre-COVID, would be awesome for fall 2021.
That's our plan, is to go back the way it was before COVID. Especially if we don't have to do hybrid. That's why I'm saying whatever we do, if we have a distance learning teacher for those that want to distance learn, then we can come back 5 days a week, go longer, because then the teachers don't have to do all that at one time. And then we could do before, the foundation could go back to doing before and after school again. So that's the plan, unless they make us go 6-foot distance again, you know. So as long as we don't have to 6-foot distance or bigger, longer, then we're pretty good. And then if we hire a distance learning teacher, we just don't have one. We have one for 1st grade, but not enough to cover. We have more distance learners than we have spots for that. But we are thinking about that for next year already. Okay. Anything else?
I have a question. When do you think the students will not need to wear the masks? When do you think that's gonna go away?
Well, according to what I just heard from CDC, if our California will adopt it, and the Tulare would be when everybody's vaccinated.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they're going to have to change that. But I know that CDC just came out and said, if you're vaccinated and you're hanging out with a bunch of vaccinated people, you don't have to wear your mask.
Right.
But right now they don't have any vaccinations for kids yet, right?
For the kids, yeah.
My guess is, and I don't remember, because I never thought we'd get out of the purple. I mean, at the very beginning I did, and then as it kept going, I thought we'd never get out of the purple. So I don't know if it's yellow or green where we can actually stop doing that. But I will tell you, I think masks are here to stay. I don't know if it's going to be during flu season or whatever is going to be required. And I think distance learning is probably here to stay. I don't know like we're doing, but I think that, we may have something with the health department. If you have so many flu cases, like 1 year we had the flu really bad, they may make us distance learn. I don't know. I'm hoping not, but the things that I keep hearing, those of you that are nurses that hear a different aspect of it, you may hear something different. You may want to ask, but everything that I keep hearing sounds like it's not going away.
I have a question. Do you think that they're going to make the children get vaccinated to attend school on your guys' end? Or did you talk any of that?
I don't know. They don't do it for the flu. There's nothing that's been tried on kids yet, so they would have a hard time doing that. They could, but I don't think they're ready for that yet. And really, for the most part, kids are not big carriers. Most schools you talk to, they're just not. Most of the cases, even on our campus, have been brought in from the outside, brought in here, and it's not being spread. Maybe one incident in preschool, but outside of that, it's not being spread. So I think they would have a hard time with that. They had a hard enough time with the whole vaccination mandate before and taking away the waivers. They got reamed in Sacramento. So I think Gavin's already worried about being recalled. So
Woohoo!
yeah, I don't know that he wants to go down that road. So that's a good thing, because I don't know that he wants to go down that road. If he went down that road, he might as well just say goodbye. So, but I don't know. The government surprises me every day. So, matter of fact, now I laugh about it because I don't even know. Any other questions? We were headed for the red, but we have an orange. We have one aspect that's actually in the orange, but there's 3 different things you look at, and 2 of them in the purple and 1 is in the orange. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens. The red doesn't really change anything for us, except for we can call our 7th and 8th grade as reopening now, not as cohorts. So that's a big deal for us.
Another question. If a sibling has been exposed, like I know my daughter goes to the foundation, and I know a few months ago they had someone that had it or whatever, and they said she couldn't go or whatever, had to quarantine because she was in the class. Does that mean my son would have to also not be able to go to school? I know you said that was secondary, right?
That's secondary, correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
And preschool runs by a different rules with us, because preschoolers put their hands. So preschool to 3rd, kind of what Deanna was talking about, preschool to 3rd graders, they're more worried about them spreading it because they put their hands in their mouth. They might not wear their mask as often. So when we end up turning those into the health department, they end up saying the whole cohort has to go home, right? Or like the whole class would have to go home. Where in 4th through 8th, you can actually see like the 6-foot distancing and some of that. That's the bad side of going down to 4-foot distancing. If they're 4-foot distancing, then that class could be distance learning.
Okay. Are you guys playing sports at all right now, or no? There's nothing.
We're looking at it. We're looking at, when we're in the red, we can do baseball. We can do baseball and softball. We're looking at it. We're trying to figure out how to get the kids back here first, because that's our priority first, to get them back on campus. And then because you have to mix cohorts when you're doing that. So
Right.
it would be nice to be lower numbers so the spread isn't worse, but we are looking at it.
Okay.
So, and some of you may have a choice, like if you have a kid in leadership or Science Olympiad, we're looking at ways of bringing that back too, but it would be your choice, and keeping them separate. In that aspect, I'd insist that they keep separate the 6 feet so that we don't have that exposure and have to shut down a bunch of classes. So if they play sports, they do have to wear masks. We don't fall under the CIF rules, so we don't have to test. In high school, you have to test because you're under the CIF rules. Anything else? Man, great questions, you guys. Don't have a hardball question. I say, I don't know. I have to get back to you. No? Okay, any questions on anything else? You got us here, so if you have a question, ask it. Nope. We're going to continue this. We're just going to continue this. We're going to have question and answer for administration, and the topic may be homework, it may be grades, it may be curriculum. And those people that want to ask us questions, I think we're just going to keep it, and we're going to keep the Zoom because a lot of people can come in at their own time and have kids at home. So I think we're going to keep this going. So I'm asking you, you guys give me your feedback. You think that would be worthwhile or no? And if not, it won't hurt my feelings. I mean, that's fine. I just, not everybody can go to school site council.
No, I think this is a really great option.
Anybody else? Or you're just so done with Zoom, you can't think of that right now? Yeah.
Yeah, I would second that.
Pardon me?
I would second what she just said.
Okay.
Super.
Me too.
Same here.
Okay, then what I might be doing is saying, okay, you give me some topics, not on this one, but if we do another one, give me some topics that you would like to talk about for next year. I might ask you guys to give me topics. So, okay. Well, if you guys don't have any questions, I want to tell you again that Cindy, Katie, and the teachers and I talk about a lot. I mean, sometimes I know that it's all very stressful for you all, but we really do. You guys have great teachers, and teachers have great parents. So it has not been easy. And one thing that I really want to tell you guys is that you get a little bit of feel how the teachers feel when you get to volunteer in classes, when they have to get used to it. Like, are they judging me? Are they judging not? And then some of you are thinking, are they judging me at home? Are they thinking about how I help my kid? And really, it's not about that. It's really about working together as a team. And we're not looking for perfection. We're really looking at, is your kid understanding or not? And if not, then the teachers need to know what they're not understanding so they can help them. So I know that this has been trying. Some of you, it's not been trying for, it's been easy, but other ones you're like, I don't want them to think that I don't know how to teach my kids. So I'm gonna, I want to make sure it's all right. But you guys, for the most part, give a few probably little headaches once in a while. You guys have been really good. I would like to look at how to be even a better team in case we have to do this again, continue to do this. So one of the topics before we leave the end of the year, we're going to do it with some of our staff, but I want to know, what have we learned from this? What has done well, and what could we do better? How could we be a better team, teachers and parents, so you don't feel like you're at odds with each other, or you don't feel like you have to put on a performance, or how can we do it? How can we do this better if we have to do it again? I think talking to other schools and other superintendents, and I think they get old. They get tired of me bragging all the time. But I brag about our staff. I brag about our board. I brag about you guys. And I know that the honeymoon period's over and it's old. I get that. It is old. For some of you are loving it, but do know that we do recognize that you guys are working really hard, and this is not easy for anybody. And even what we're doing now is not necessarily easy for any of you. We do realize that. I wish it were different. I really do. So, but we're trying. And I know some schools are back 5 days a week and all the whole time. And we just talked to one school that's working on it, and they only have 30 kids distance learning, I think. And they're smaller than us. Their class sizes are smaller. So just remember that. But if we have to do it next year, we will do it a little bit differently. So that part we've learned. All right.
Mrs. Rufert, there is a question. How long is the wait list for the after school program? And is it 5 days a week?
It is 5 days a week. It depends on which grade level you're in. So I don't know. I'd have to look it up. But if you email me, I can tell you. I will tell you that I haven't had an opening in a really long time. So I don't get your hopes up. I haven't had an opening in a really long time. But if we can 4-foot distance, we might be able to get a few more kids in there. The only reason we don't 4-foot distance in the day camp is because they're mixed cohorts. So we try to keep that 6-foot distancing. That's the difference. All right. Anybody else? No? Anybody have a celebration they want to brag about their kid or something they've learned or?
Well, I don't, not about my kid, but I want to brag about you guys. Thank you for all that you're doing. This has been really hard for us parents and grandparents and aunts and uncles, but I can't imagine all that you guys are going through, trying to jump through all the hoops. So thank you for all that you and all of our teachers are doing.
Thank you very much. I will
Thank you,
pass that on.
Leslie.
Yeah, I will pass that on. It does take a team, right? So I do have to tell you, Cindy was showing another superintendent and principal around our campus. And she was going around, she bragged about everybody, teachers and our staff, but she said, oh yeah, this is because of parents. Yep, this is because of parents. This is because of parents. This is because of parents. So, and they're like, your parents did all that? Oh man, we need to get our PTO more in gear and to do, but we're just showing how many things on campus have come about because of parents, including the parent room. You know, it'd be nice if we had a room. So now you guys have a room. So they were just very, very much amazed at how much you guys as parents have done. And every time I talk about how much we fundraise, people's mouths just drop. Never forget, and I appreciate that, Leslie, too, but never forget how wonderful you guys have been as well. So it really is a team. Okay, anybody else want to brag on their kid? Bragging Kid Day? No? Okay, so parents, right now, I want you to do me a favor. I know this sounds corny, but I want you to do it. I want you to take your right hand and I want you to pat your left shoulder because you have done a good job. You have survived 2 trimesters. Yeah. And if your kids are there, tell your kids, yes, there you go, give hugs. You have survived. You may have a few more grays, you may have a few more wrinkles, you may have a few less or more pounds, I don't know, but you've survived. So kudos to you guys. All right. Have a good evening. Have a great meal, a great time with your family. And we will see you.
Thank
We'll
you.
stay around to answer some more questions if you have them.
Thank you, parents. We'll stick around.
Thank you, you guys too.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Dry. Make them sit right here and dry.
Hey, Terry,
Yes.
on the
Hi,
8th grade trip, does it have to necessarily be a trip? Or, because I heard that like the Galaxy Theater is renting out their theaters, you know, something similar to that where they have the different theaters open so they can distance throughout
We
the
can do that.
morning.
Yeah, my grandson's having a birthday party this Saturday and that's what they're doing. So yeah.
Yeah. And
Oh,
I've heard
yeah, that's a
Park is doing stuff like that too. So I didn't know, you know, like having like a couple days where they just field trip over to like Galaxy or Adventure Park or, you know, if we can't go anywhere, but something fun.
So some local field trips where they can just go do things. That's a good idea.
They can have activities or, you know, watch the Star Wars trilogy or whatever, you know, Galaxy or, because they do the concession stand there too, I think.
Yeah, they do. That's a great idea, Tracy.
Bowling alley here in Visalia, I think, you know, something, day trips, you know. But
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Or, I mean, there's enough parents that would be willing to drop their, you know, if we can't do buses. I don't know.
No, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. I'll put that down.
Fun and special and they get to at least do something.
Yeah. I'm bound and determined to have them do something, and so is Mrs. Gist, and so are the 8th grade teachers. So we'll figure something out. But those are great ideas. I hadn't thought about that. So great ideas.
Thank you, Tracy. Yes.
That's it.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks,
Very
Tracy.
exciting in our house of 2 of the 4 get to go back 4 days a week. Yes. So thank you. And thanks.
Hopefully it'll be all of them before long.
Yes.
Hopefully in about a little over a month, we'll get them all back. So
yeah. And trying to get that time between
we will.
kindergarten and
That when they all can come back and we don't have to worry about them being cohorts, we'll close that. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll close that gap.
Yeah, that'd be great. All right. Thank you.
Okay, we'll see ya.
Bye, Tracy.
Yeah. Any of the rest of you have questions you wanted to stay around for? No?
Terry, this is Krista. I'm under Caden Alvarado on the screen, but so like you were talking about, you're closing the gap on the pickup or the drop off time too, or it would be just on the pickup time? Both. Okay. All right. Sounds good.
Where you could maybe be in your car for, sit in your car for a little bit and let them come out. It's around buses. So we have to look at that. So I don't know how close I can get it.
Okay. All right. Yeah. hanging out in the car, running errands than trying
Yeah.
to get back in.
Yeah, we might be able to get a little bit closer. It just depends on the kids on the bus. I just don't, we'd have to see that.
Okay. And if they go back to this year, they will never go back to like regular time, like getting out at like 1 and 2 or 1:10. That won't probably be.
I don't think so unless they let us go, unless we can distance less than 4 feet.
Okay.
Because then I will have to have too many distance learners.
Okay. No,
Yeah.
that's fine. I just was curious. I have one 6th grader, or my 6th graders in the too big of a class group. So I have 1st graders and then the too big class. So
I know. Well, I know, but we really are looking at the whole thing about doing a pop-up with the side tents and putting some chairs out there, and
I said there was an
how to do that
area for them to hang out right there.
Yeah. So we're trying to figure out how to do that. So we just can't, and then how the teachers can teach those that are out in that thing while the other ones are. So I don't know.
Yeah.
We're working on it. The 6th grade is our problem area.
Yeah. I get it. No problem. I just,
because none of you guys want to keep your kids at home in 6th grade.
You know, sometimes they don't know she's here, but you know, I do. Yeah. I'm not sure what all times is going on. So
I get it. I get it. I think we'll be able to figure it out. Just give us a couple, a little bit of time, I think.
Okay. No problem.
Yep.
Thank you so much. All
You're
right.
welcome.
All right. Thank you again for everything.
Thank you.
Sure.
All right. Bye-bye.
Hey, Terry, this is Melissa Lopes. I just
Yeah.
had a quick question. Sorry, I jumped on late because I just got off work, but
that's okay.
I just wanted to quickly ask, I'm really excited about the younger ones going back 4 days, but why not 5 days if we're doing 4?
Because we have too many distance learners, and we still have to find time so that they get out early, so the teachers are doing can do their distance learning in their office hours after school. So we need to still find time where we do professional development, meetings, IEP meetings. So we've set that all for Friday. We can't do it all after school because they're still meeting. They still have to meet their distance learners. We still have a large number of distance learners.
Okay, yeah,
Okay.
I was just curious as to if it was like a metric thing.
No, it's just we have too many distance learners, and so after school they need that time to meet with those kids. Even the ones that they have them Zoom in their classroom, they're not quite getting it as much, so they keep that time afterwards. And so we still need to have time to do some other things, and we don't know how else to do it right now.
Okay, great. I'm
Okay.
also 100% on board for whatever Tracy wants to do for the 8th graders. I will carpool or whatever is needed. So.
Oh, great. I thank you, Melissa. If you have any ideas, let us know. All right.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks,
Thanks, Melissa.
Okay. All right. I'll let the other two stay on, but I have to use the restroom. So.
All right.